everyone. Welcome to the Sigma Show, episode 50. I'm your host, Sigma. Before I let you know who's joining me this week, real quick, we'll go over what we'll be talking about on this show. First up, Halo. The TV series has been announced. They've shown first images and video and whatnot of it. And they've just recently said that it won't follow any of the games. Well, it won't be canon from the games. I won't say it won't follow any of the games canons. We'll talk about what that means for the series, like if that's a good thing, a bad thing. Also, NFTs are back in the news in a big way. Like, you can't get away from them. Stalker 2 devs tried to put them in their game and were immediately met with some serious fan backlash and have since decided to remove all NFT related things. We'll talk again about what the hell NFTs are, what they could mean for gaming, and why this is such a big thing that these publishers are trying to push for. And finally, since this is our last show of the year, we'll be talking about our favorite games of 2021, like stuff that we've that have really stuck with us, that have released this year. And here to talk with me about those things are Blue Bones.
It's your boy, Blue Bones BLUB0 NES. What's going on, everybody?
As well as Rachel Kaiser.
Hi, everybody. For once, I'm not here to talk about Activision Blizzard. Well, unless y'all bring it up.
You know what I mean?
It'll probably get brought up. Let's be honest.
Well, PlayStation execs, right?
Exactly.
Immediately, Lampy jumps in here and says, "I am out of sync."
Oh.
So let's see if we can figure out why.
Okay.
I should have the offset mic on, so I should be good, but I'm not. Is what it says. You know what? I'm gonna ignore it for right now. How about that? How you like that, Lampy? How does it make you feel? But anyway, we'll jump right into things. What you been playing? What you been watching? It's been a while since we had a show. Last week was my mom's birthday, so we took that week off, and we will be off for the next 2 weeks thanks to Christmas and New Year's. So it'll be a while since you hear from us. So get your feel right now. Blue, what you been up to?
Oh man, I've been working hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. Actually, just got a little promotion at my job. No biggie.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But when it comes down to what I've been watching, Succession. I just finished season 2, started season 3. I love the way season 2 ended, but I'm still like at this point where I don't want to attach myself to any of these characters because they're all bad people.
They're
yeah, they
people.
are like. But I love the story. It's so compelling, and it makes me want to follow this rabbit hole of dark self-destruction that they're going down. So I've been loving that. I'm recently trying to get back into 7 Deadly Sins. I've been seeing some hype on the latest stuff, and I didn't like season 2.
What season is that on now?
It's on season 4 or 5, I think. I was surprised to hear that it went that long, but I feel like it's got kind of like the Black Clover effect, where it starts off pretty bad and then flips.
Pardon me.
Oh, bless you. But that's the thing. 7 Deadly Sins started off pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that show in the first season was really good. And then the second season was a complete reversal. Like, it went awful. And it got creepy.
So my wife she's way further than I am. And she tells me that second season, like the way it started, was kind of misunderstood. And it's out of perspective until you watch the 3rd and the 4th season. So it's kind of confusing on purpose, supposedly. So I'm just like, okay, maybe let me...
Well, I don't know if I was confused by it as much as I was annoyed and horrified by what was going on in that season. Well, I mean, the one thing which isn't a spoiler is they start dealing in power levels, like immediately as the second season starts. And like that was not a thing that they ever talked about or dealt with in the first one. So I'm like, whose decision was it to start talking about things in terms of, I have this much power, he has that much. It just completely throws the concept of like the threat of this enemy and that enemy like out the window. Like, why would you do this?
It throws the mystery out.
And then there's all the little girl stuff, and it was just
okay. Well, maybe I didn't hit those episodes yet, but okay. We'll see. I'm gonna check it out. And you know what? I have no problem watching something and not liking it to understand why I don't like it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah. So on top of that, I've been into Cyberpunk. I finally got Cyberpunk on Black Friday, $30. Yeah. I'm glad I didn't pay anything more for Cyberpunk 2077. Like, I think $30 is a really good price right now. I hated it at first. I'm not gonna lie. came out the bat.
Why?
There's a lot. First of all, the customization was absolutely terrible. One of the worst I've seen in a modern video game. I'm not gonna lie.
No, you're right. Yeah,
Like,
I tried so hard to make Motoko Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
I don't like the way my V looks, and I've tried multiple times. I did the best configuration, and you know me. Anybody on these streams know me. I love customizing my character, making them as close to my ideal that I want. Right? Didn't happen with V. The clothing, same kind of deal. Can't do crap about that. I look like a murder
they make it
clown.
pretty hard. Yeah, they make it really hard for you to collect the kind of clothes you would want too. Like, there's no easy way to like go into a shop and just like buy clothes.
I mean, they do have
you have to find
clothes.
it all.
No, they have shopping clothes.
I know they do
shops, but they're all like just random clothes that they throw out there. Nothing
right. Yeah, exactly. Like
GTA or anything like that. Like,
yeah, it's not like, oh, this is a store for high end looking clothes.
Saints Row did that really well, by the way.
Saints Row and GTA 5
and GTA 5
perfectly. Yes. So yeah, that totally fell off for me. But after I getting out the intro, I hated the intro. I think the tutorial was terrible. They threw out way too much information that was essentially irrelevant. I did the Corpo run, and
I did too.
Man, I was disappointed. I am disappointed. I'm not finished with the game yet, but I'm disappointed so far. As a Corpo, I thought I would be not a former Corpo. I'd be a Corpo,
like an actual one. Like you were like inside
but
the
I'm
system.
Retired. Like, this is stupid. Like, so I'm running around like I used to be a businessman. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So okay, but I will say, one of my friends just vetted really hard for this game, and I was just in his ear every time I found a glitch or a bug or any little thing, and it was frustrating. I'm like, I'm glad it's $30. I was really bad. However, I started getting into. I kind of dropped this. I'm just gonna be a Puritan, like a straight human, and I wasn't gonna kill a whole bunch. And I was like, you know what? Let me just go crazy. I'm gonna call this my psychosis. And I put as much cyberware as I could on V, and I did the craziest things I could do. I got the mantis blades. I got the mono wire. I was doing different kind of guns and stuff. And then when I started experimenting with the different ways to breach buildings and to get some of these jobs done, that's where I was having more of the fun. Just kind of making my own challenges and story within the game. The main storyline, it lost me from the beginning, and I kind of picked up with some characters that I liked, but at the end of the day, I'm just like, show me who to kill, because I don't know. I want to connect more to V, but because V isn't my character, she's a pre-written character.
Right.
I'm just watching her. I feel like Johnny. I feel like I'm just in her head and just influence every now and then. So I don't know.
No, I completely agree with that. That was kind of my main thing, is that they sort of sold it as this game where you could create a character and do whatever you want to do. Like, Cyberpunk is a role playing game, right? But you don't role play as your own character. You're playing V. And like, they have written a character.
Yes, she has a whole
and I
attitude.
don't like V.
Me neither.
Yeah,
Me
I
neither.
don't like V.
Yes.
Yeah, like, her motivations are dumb. Like, the way she responds to like different situations, I'm like, that's a stupid way to go about this. But I'm stuck controlling her, and then at the same time, you're at odds, because like I wanted to play it this way, and like you said, you tried to go for like all the cyberware, because I was trying to play Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell. I was like, okay, let me get all my guns, let me get all like my agility skills, because I wanted her to basically just be able to stealthily walk into a room and like shoot everything and like flip around and stuff. Oh, looks like we lost Rachel for a little bit. She'll probably be back.
She just reset her internet.
Yeah. So I really just felt at odds the whole time with the character they wanted me to play, and maybe we could have avoided that if it was clearer at the beginning that this is a character. Like, why have me customize the face and look and whatever of this character
and the sex,
if it's a pre-written character?
Like, the sex is stupid. Like, why are we customizing that when I can't even customize like I can't customize so much other things, but I can customize my dick? Like, why? I don't even see
that definitely did seem like a novelty. Yeah, that was pretty much just
for the shock
kind of a
value.
gimmick.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it was a cash grab. As soon as you heard that you could do that, so many people jumped on. You know what I mean? And it was just, So Cyberpunk overall, I'm not happy with it. but I'm glad I got it for $30. And I'm glad it didn't win any crazy awards because it's not finished.
It's definitely not. Yeah, it's good that people didn't forget that
Yeah.
about it. I will say the writing of the overarching story is a little wonky. Like V is written awfully, but I really liked Johnny Silverhand. I like Keanu's portrayal of him. I know some people were kind of iffy on it. Maybe it's just the Keanu fanboy in
Mhm.
me. I thought that character was actually pretty cool and how he portrayed him. And then a lot of the side characters were also had like really interesting
I
stories.
just got to the Haitian people, and I think the Voodoo Boys, and I think they're
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
they are criminally underrepresented in that game. You get like that one section with them,
There's
and then
no
I don't
more?
think they really factor in.
I'm
No,
like
there's not.
literally like finishing that up right now. That is disappointing.
It's very disappointing because like their whole section of the world and their whole backstory is actually really cool.
Yeah, they kind of made
But you
their
don't
own
get to hang
thing.
out with them
Oh
more.
my gosh. Yeah.
Like so, that was disappointing. So I don't know. They still are planning expansions, I believe,
Yeah.
for that
And
game.
the
But like, I don't know if I'm gonna go back
The
because
patch.
I doubt it's gonna.
the patch is supposed to drop next year, but multiplayer is supposed to be coming out.
I thought they scrapped that entirely.
I heard
they're still planning to do multiplayer. That game will not. Can you imagine what multiplayer in that game? Like, what would multiplayer even
crazy
be?
with the double jumps, the hovers, the mantis, like people just running around killing each other would look wild as heck. People doing joint missions together would just turn into bloodbaths because no one's gonna keep stealth. It's just I don't know what they could do, but I feel like they could they'll probably do racing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that at all. Rachel says I'll be back. Internet's being a real pickle this morning. And all she has to say about Cyberpunk is that if you think there are lots of bugs and glitches now, she played it at launch.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I played a little after launch too, but luckily I was playing on my Series X, and so it ran well. But there were still tons of glitches. My favorite one though was I was having a phone conversation. You know how they have like the little box
Yeah.
that shows like the video person. So I was having a phone conversation with that person. That person teleported to my I was in my car. That person I was talking to teleported into my car, but like at the level of like where V's head was. So when I got out of the car, the person was like sitting like where V's head was, and like half her body was outside of the
my
car.
goodness.
And then she was continuing the conversation with me in person. But it was weird because like the she disappeared from the box that was the phone, and she didn't sound like she was on the phone anymore. She sounded like she was in person. So yeah, so it seems like the way they programmed that is like they have the character have that conversation, but just in a phone box.
Yeah.
And like somehow the game forgot that they weren't away from you and just teleported them to me to have that conversation. So I thought that was really funny.
Hello?
Yeah. Hey, welcome
Yes.
back.
I apologize for that.
You good, huh?
No worries.
Sweat. Yeah.
She
So
just started breaking today. I don't know what's the matter.
It's in the spirit of Cyberpunk.
Oh, yeah.
oh man.
And like I said in the comments, yeah, you think there are bugs now? I played the game at launch.
Yes.
That thing
yeah, and
crashed my computer, and I had just built this computer, so it was a good computer. And this thing crashed twice trying to play Cyberpunk.
I'm glad you said that because that pissed me off even more playing it recently. I'm like, okay, I see that there's been at least 3 patches since the game launched, right? And I'm on the 3rd one, so I'm supposed to be playing the best version. I'm playing on my PC too. My PC is not shitty. I'm gonna say that one more time. My PC's not shitty. It's not the top of the line, but it's not shitty. It should not have it shouldn't have these bugs. It runs the game. Don't get me wrong. It runs the game, but there's dumb stuff like I'm supposed to escort somebody in the van. Motherfucker won't get in the van. They're walking behind the van that I'm driving. I'm like, can you just get in the damn van? Reload. No. And then it won't give me the bonus objective for bringing the van and the person to the same spot because the person has to be in the van. There's another one where I actually got trapped inside a theater. Could not leave.
Mhm.
Another door is open. I had to reload. And the worst part is every bug that I've run into, I'm like, oh, maybe it's just me. I look it up, and a million people have had the same problem.
Other people are having the exact same problem. Yep.
Like, the development support for Cyberpunk is one of the most disappointing things I've come across in a long time in video games.
The fact that after all this time, like it's still not done.
It was in development for what, 8 years? Not
Yeah.
regular development.
Just
I know
the-
it restarted multiple times, but still.
Like, and not to go too far on a tangent, but I think that's why people like me and other MMOs players appreciate the team for Final Fantasy 14, because they seem super responsive to any kind of problem, whether it's technical or balancing issues or different things like that. Even ease of life. What do they call it? Ease of life. Um,
Uh,
Uh,
quality
Quality
yeah.
of
of life.
life.
Thank you. Quality of life upgrades too. They do it all expeditiously, and that's the kind of response I would expect from a modern gaming company. And that's not what I'm getting from
It's
this.
funny you should bring them up because like they're so dedicated to keeping the stability of their world. They stopped selling the game.
Exactly. Who does
Yeah,
that,
like they're
right?
like, look,
We don't want y'all to
we
chug
won't
through
sell any
this.
more of this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's getting overloaded with how many people are playing. Like that's wild
That's
to say
actually
no to the
caring
money to
about
make
it.
sure that it still
You see what I'm
functions.
saying?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
Like, people sleep on Final Fantasy 14, but
I do.
you,
I
I
admit
mean,
it.
I play.
there's a reason why. Yeah, girl, we gotta link up. There's a
Yes.
reason why it's the top MMO right now. There's a reason why it's that popular, because the support is there and the game is good.
Hmm.
Yeah, and like the Fast Axe is saying in the chat, Final Fantasy was rough at the start, and they rebuilt it
They
from scratch.
did
So like,
complete revamps, and they
That's yeah.
still did another revamp on like what, three, four, five of their classes, just to make sure that things are right, make sure that things are playing right. Like, they're not afraid to say, "Hey, we fucked up. We're gonna change. We're gonna fix it."
I mean, that's like the inverse of what they did with Cyberpunk, which was so bad that
Exactly.
Microsoft and PlayStation were like, "Listen, you do not have to like regret this so much. Just, tell us you don't like it. We will literally give you your money back."
That's disgusting.
And I mean, Sony is like, "We're not even going to sell your game because we're so
Yeah.
disappointed in you right now." And how much of this is based in the fact that they hyped up Cyberpunk so much before launch?
yes,
Immensely. How much is
I
it? Like
mean,
right.
1 point something, what, $1.8 million settlement with the investors
mhm.
that recently went through, because they're like, this is not what
Hmm.
y'all were talking about.
Yeah, and
Phew.
pre-launch, heaven forbid you ever criticize the game. You're ever like, "Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be quite what they promised to be," and
Okay.
everyone's like, and everyone jumped down your throat.
Yeah,
They're like, "But it's CD
yeah,
Project Red. They can't do any wrong." And
Lo and behold.
yeah,
yeah. They just left all those fans holding the bag.
which yeah, I mean, everyone has a bad game in them.
Yeah.
I don't take it quite that personally, but it's just it's the fact that they were promising the moon and they didn't even give us anything anywhere close to that. They didn't even give us moon cheese.
Not even once. Yeah, so that's
Ah,
what I've been playing.
Okay, all right.
that seems like a
How
fitting
about
way.
you, Rachel?
I've actually been playing. This is gonna sound might come as a surprise. There's an Ace Attorney game I have never played before. Um,
Hmm.
so I just got Ace Attorney Investigations on my phone. So, and that's the game that
Wait, this is a mobile game.
well, it was originally released for the DS, and then they have a port for it on iOS and Android, and
Nice.
Okay.
it's the game that stars Miles Edgeworth. You're the prosecutor, so
Mm.
sort of showing the other side of what he goes through in his day to day life, and I've actually been
Okay.
enjoying it quite a bit. I mean, I know that sounds strange because we got a whole bunch of like Halo just came out and all that, but yeah, it's just I just saw it on the store and I downloaded it and I as me and all things mystery, I just got really into it.
Okay.
So,
Nice. So it's are all the Ace Attorney games like
mhm,
mystery type
yeah,
stories?
it's,
Okay.
murder investigations, that sort of thing, and usually it's, Phoenix Wright or Apollo Justice or Athena, um, defending a client, and you're trying to find out who actually did it. And in Edgeworth's case, it's more like you're seeing the police and prosecutorial side of things. But what makes me laugh though is that in all of the Ace Attorney games, I think Awkward Zombie did a comic about this as well. There's always some gimmick, like Phoenix has like this magical necklace that lets him see when
Yeah.
people are hiding things, and Apollo
Uh
Justice
huh.
has like super keen eyesight, and Athena has good hearing, and all of that. And Edgeworth's version of that is literally just logic. Like he's just got it's almost exactly like Frog Wars's Sherlock Holmes games. It's like you got this board of
Oh, like the Mind
yeah,
Palace
you got this
thing.
just board where it's just like the person was shot with a gun. We found a gun at the crime scene. Therefore, logic would dictate the person was shot with the gun they found at the crime scene. Everyone's like, And everyone does that. But it's amazing because in the Ace Attorney games, whenever you make a point or like you present a fact to a suspect or
Yeah.
something, they always do that thing where they just react violently. And it's funny enough when it's Phoenix Wright saying, or Apollo Justice saying something like, "Your eyelid twitched, you're lying," and they're like, "What?" Meanwhile, Miles Edgeworth is like, "Well, clearly you have an inconsistency, therefore you must be lying." And they have the exact same reaction, which is that, I mean, in the first case, the guy literally bends over like he's just been punched in the face. And it's I love
No, I love
I love
that.
the Ace Attorney games. They're so over the
I wish
top.
logic worked like that in real life.
Oh
Exactly.
man,
So
it's
yeah,
supposed
but
to,
that
right?
well, I mean, in the very first, I had to take a screenshot of it, but in the very first case, Edgeworth is getting back to his office after, like a month off or so, and he walks in, and there's a body on the floor. Somebody walks up behind him with the gun, and he literally just turns and glares over his shoulder at them and says, "Listen, no one gets away with murder in my office." And the guy literally runs off after that. The person has him dead to rights, and they just run off because they're so impressed by his display of his lack of fear of the situation. I was like, that's what I aspire to
Yeah, you
be.
got to think twice about. Yeah, you got to think twice about shooting the guy who who says something like that to you with a gun at his back. Like this dude might be
Yeah,
Daredevil.
hold
I don't
on
Yeah.
know.
now.
This is why we love Edgeworth. Oh, as well, I'm also getting ready for the finale of Hawkeye. So, Marvel
Okay,
shill that I am, so I've been watching that. I've been watching Hawkeye,
I
which
have a
is not
question.
bad.
Yeah, I.
Yeah, I had a question.
How many episodes is that show supposed to be?
What is the show? Did you say what or when?
Oh, how many episodes is that show supposed to
Oh,
be?
it's 6, and
Like,
the 6th one is coming up this
it's only
weekend.
6. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's
Yeah, because I just saw the 5th one. I'm like, oh, I didn't know it was over that
Yeah,
soon.
it's pretty fast. Although it is setting up for either more in other shows or movies, but it's all I mean, that's I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, it's setting up
Yeah.
for some big stuff that's happening outside of the show.
What's your and you can be as general as you want, but what's your overall vibe of this show, especially compared to Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Loki?
Well, I'll say WandaVision is still my favorite
Okay.
because WandaVision is the one that was the most experimental and the weirdest out of all of them,
Yeah, hundred
and
percent.
Hmm.
the one that actually pushed the most into the idea of these people having real damage post battle of Thanos, and Wanda
Yeah.
unfortunately had damage long before that, so that did not make the situation any better. And I mean, Loki felt like an exercise in just it felt like it's just well, we really like this actor and everybody really likes this character, so let's just give him a show. Falcon and Winter Soldier was uh, again, the actors had great chemistry with each other. So, I mean, sometimes it really feels like these shows are built on not very much. And in this one, it literally is just like, well, we've never given Jeremy Renner a whole lot of attention. And, we feel like we can not only give him a little bit of a vehicle, but we can also set up the next generation for when his contract eventually expires by bringing in Kate Bishop to
Kate
to
Bishop.
replace him, which, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with that being the basis of the show. I'm not gonna love it as much, but I love that they're bringing
Hmm.
in a whole bunch of other characters
Yeah.
to sort of to add flesh to the bone. And also, I'm not gonna spoil a whole lot, but there's a major scene involving LARPers that made me
Oh.
laugh. That made me laugh so hard. And
Okay.
Yeah, the LARP stuff is funny. I like that
yeah.
part of it. But I will say I've been mostly disappointed in that
Mhm.
show. Like to me, it's by far the weakest of any of the MCU
Yeah.
shows. And the thing you're talking about, like how they're kind of bringing in all these characters and setting up all this other stuff for stuff outside. It's like they did that in all the episodes in all the Marvel shows to some
Mhm.
extent, but this one seems like there's so little attention to
Yeah.
Hawkeye himself. It's like they really couldn't be bothered to give him any more depth.
No,
They're
no.
like, we'll just use him to bounce all these other things off of.
Yeah, and I do wonder if it speaks to how weak Hawkeye is as a character, that he
Yeah,
doesn't that
maybe that they still couldn't flesh
yeah,
him out even with his own
I'm not gonna
show.
spoil in case anybody hasn't seen episode 5 or episode 4,
Mm-hmm.
but, like, the fact that they're bringing in characters from other people's rogues gallery, and, I mean, even just Echo.
Hmm.
Echo has nothing to do with Hawkeye, and yet they're bringing her. I mean, I'm happy they are because Echo is a cool
Yeah, but
character.
that character is gonna get her own show,
Exactly.
right? Like that was announced forever ago. So like this, it's his show is
Which
also a
is
backdoor
yeah.
pilot for that
Mhm.
character.
I
So,
feel
yeah,
like Marvel's doing that a lot.
they are,
Even
yeah.
and I dare to say now, granted, I liked this movie, but
Mhm.
I think Eternals was the same thing. It
Oh
was just
god,
a
yeah.
bridge movie. But I liked Eternals. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I had no desire to see it, so I'll wait till that hits Disney Plus.
That makes
I've
sense.
seen it. I mean, it's hard because I like all of the actors, but I feel like I
Right?
feel like
Yeah.
one like they the script was not solid in the slightest. The script did not know what to do with these characters who are it's weird because they can only like operate within the confines of this one movie, and they're like trying to squish these characters who are basically gods into the confines of this one movie, and that means you're very limited in what you can do with them.
I really thought that with what they had and the time that they had, they kind of split up the attention relatively evenly.
Hmm.
The protagonist, the main protagonist aside, I feel like everybody got the shine that they needed, and they were able to show off what they could do and how they were a major influence on the world or the universe, if you will. And that's one thing I really appreciated about that. I know we're not going into a deep discussion about the Eternals, but yeah, I overall, again, I felt
It's
like
the
it
last
was
show of the year. Why not?
right. I do feel like like Sigma was saying, backdoor pilots. They were definitely it was a bridge movie, but a pleasant one. It's like a nice bridge that you walk over. That's how I feel.
It's a shiny
Yeah,
bridge with pretty people on
Like
it.
exactly.
I will say, like, my big problem with the Eternals, I'll keep this
Yeah.
brief, I promise.
Mhm.
But my problem with the Eternals is that the main character, everyone keeps telling us the main character is Gemma Chan as Cersei. And everyone's like, no one loves humanity as much as you. You have such compassion in your heart for humanity. I'm like, okay, Fastos literally has a human husband and son. Druig was the only person who actually defied the
Took care.
non-interference
Yeah.
clause and was protecting people like humans for
Hmm.
thousands and thousands of years. Athena was a war veteran who is the
Yeah.
only person who is actually aware of what's going on and is
I
actively
love
trying
her.
to get to break this. Well, it's Angelina Jolie, of course. It's like
Honestly, it wasn't, of course, for me, but I still
fair,
loved her this one.
fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah.
And like what did like everyone keeps telling us that this character is the main character and the most important person in the movie. What did she do besides kiss a couple of hunky boys?
Ooh.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
my yeah.
yeah, yeah, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it
Okay, we'll
later.
go over it. Yeah,
Yeah,
Blue and
yeah.
I off
Well, real
camera.
quick, I just want to bring up something that Tommy Salty
Yeah.
says. He says there are so many shows, and I'm not denying that many of those are great, but I just can't make myself watch all this stuff. If I get time to watch, I usually go for something I know or something less demanding, like Legend of
Mhm.
Korra.
Yeah.
Right? It's become, I feel, very,
One Piece.
very saturated in terms of content, and the fact that all of it has to tie into each other makes it almost like you have to watch all this stuff. Like I really didn't want to watch Hawkeye,
Mhm.
but like once I found out that there was some stuff in Hawkeye that ties into like some other stuff that was actually interesting to me, I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll watch
That's how they
Hawkeye. I
got
thought the
you.
first two episodes of that show was
Mhm.
terrible. Like I hated the first two episodes of Hawkeye. It gets a little better after that, but it's really because they bring in all this other stuff that I care
Fair.
about and not so much
Yeah.
Hawkeye.
And
I
not even
think
really
And
that's
I love
defend. Yeah.
archers. Archers are like my favorite
they
thing,
are.
and they like I can't stand Hawkeye.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that Marvel Disney's been doing a lot recently. It's not that you like the show; it's that you like the tie-ins. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you like the
You like
world,
the
you like that
world, yeah. You want to
universe.
see what people are doing in the world and how it affects your characters, even if you don't think that that character is important. Um, and it's an interesting strategy. It's like it's like bait. You had no
Yeah.
interest in Hawkeye, but you had a little bait of something else that you liked.
I mean, if they did him justice, I could have had interest. Like I was kind of his character was so boring in everything he was in for the most
Mhm.
part that this was the chance to like I before the TV shows I would have picked Hawkeye over Falcon.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Cause Falcon like annoyed me. I'm like,
yeah.
this dude is ass. Like, get him out of here. Hawkeye just didn't get enough shine,
Yeah.
right? But they gave Anthony Mackie's Falcon shine, and he was just ass at every every opportunity he got. But he won me over in his TV
Yeah.
show,
Okay. Yeah.
right? Like in his TV show, I was like, okay, I get it. Like I see where he's coming
Mhm.
from. This was the opportunity to do that for Hawkeye, and he was like, "F this guy."
Yeah. I mean, I will
I've been
say
saying that
like
for a long time.
out of all the shows, it's the one that didn't try to do anything unusual. Like WandaVision was dealing seriously like with problems like grief and mental illness and a lot of things that, in the movies, I think, have never really touched on with these characters. And that's sort of what I see these shows as being. It's like the opportunity to go in a little deeper and be like, these characters have like these rich interior lives that the movies don't have time to explore. And with WandaVision, it's that, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it's Falcon who's sort of like confronting sort of the troubling history of these, of not just Captain America, but I think the Avengers in general as well. And
Mhm.
as also, speaking of mental illness, we've got Bucky in the midst. And I think even Loki was the sort of confronting uh, I guess sort of the way they characterize villains in the
Hmm.
MCU as sort of this character, like
Criminals.
could this character have ever could this character have ever gone right? And basically you've got this entire like infrastructure in the MCU that says there's no way this character can ever go right because the timeline needs this person to go bad. So yeah, although I did enjoy that episode of What If where he was never adopted, so he and Thor are basically bros. I'm like, damn, the TVA missed one. But Hawkeye doesn't really do that. Hawkeye doesn't really. I mean, it explores sort of, I guess, what happens with the, um, I guess, what happens when an ordinary person gets involved in all the problems the MCU has been about. But that's really enough fodder for one episode, and the rest is just sort
Mhm.
of. I mean, and I like Hawkeye, so this is so this is coming from like I recognize the problems with it,
Yeah.
the lack that exists there. There's really
It's
nothing to explore with Hawkeye.
it's funny you mentioned Marvel Disney exploring mental illness and the actual the post traumatic um, issues that come up with all these world breaking events. I feel
Mhm.
like Iron Man 2 did that first
Mhm.
when they tried to show Tony dealing with this, and people did not appreciate it.
Aw, yeah,
I
you're
feel
right.
like people did not appreciate Iron Man 2 because that was more man than iron.
Mhm.
That's one of my favorite Marvel movies. Um, and yeah, like the fact that he's like, look, I just saw the sky open up and aliens, and I went to space, and like I saw crazy space monsters. Like this is not normal stuff.
Was
That
that?
was
Was that
Iron
three?
Man 3, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
that was.
three?
Yeah, Iron Man 3 was post
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thanos.
Three then. Three.
Well, not Thanos, but post
Yeah,
War in New York, whatever the hell they call
yeah.
that event.
My fault. My fault. Three. That's what I meant. So yeah, that that one I felt like got such a bad rep, but I feel like it was one of the most important ones because it showed.
I think over time people have realized that
Yeah.
though.
I hope
Like
so.
I think people are coming
I
around
ain't
on
hear
Iron Man
that.
3. Like, no, I hear a lot of people capping for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, and just
But
to change
Fake
the
Marvel
subject,
fans.
no, go ahead.
Lampy, get out of here, bro.
I was about to say just to change the subject real quick. I also did get started on The Witcher season 2, so I'm only one
Nice.
episode in.
Oh, right, that just dropped,
Yeah,
right?
so just to add that I'm not a complete Marvel shill. So this is what else I've been doing with my time. But yeah, I loved Witcher season 1, so I'm really looking forward to I'm looking forward to this one.
Okay.
Nice.
Sig, before you go,
As for
can I add
yeah,
one
go
more
ahead.
thing? I'm so sorry,
Yes, it's okay.
bro.
No, go right
I
ahead.
started watching Demon Slayer Mugen Train, the
The
episodes.
anime version, right?
Yes. I just watched the first episode. I freaking loved it. Oh my goodness. It's done so well that like if you watch the movie, that first episode was amazing. If you didn't watch the movie, that first episode was amazing. Just for like two different reasons. It was just oh my gosh. Yes to Demon Slayer Mugen Train. Do it to yourself. All right, that's where we go.
Yeah, I'm waiting for those to pile up so I can jump right in.
Okay.
But I mean, in the meantime, I've actually picked back up on One Piece.
Oh man.
So like I'm going down that road once again. The last arc I finished was the whole Cake Island arc, which dove really deep into Sanji's backstory because we got some of Sanji's backstory, who's the cook on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
But then they go back to like before that story, and like that's an even more interesting story that explains how you got to his previous backstory before he met the One Piece crew. So the new place they're at is Wano Island, and it's essentially like a samurai island.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny. The show is a Japanese anime, but like the different places they go to are representative of like different places in the world. They're finally in a place that is supposed to be their version of Japan.
Interesting. What other cultures
like-
have they explored?
Oh crap! I'm trying to think.
I'm sorry. It just sounded.
No, I mean, like it's hard to really I want to say like the island Luffy was from was probably like Brazilian or something, or
Ah,
like Indonesian or something like that.
okay.
But I don't know. Yeah, like there's a lot of weird islands. Like,
Naturally.
so it may not be one to one, but this one is very
Japanese.
very Japanese, right? And you can tell that they pulled out all the stops for it because the animation changes from the last season to this
Hmm.
season. It is beautiful looking, and One Piece is an ugly anime.
Interesting.
I will give you that.
Yeah.
Those characters look real weird. They don't look so weird anymore once they hit the Wano arc. Like that show is drawn beautifully. The action gets a big upgrade. Like they show you like a sword fight with Zoro. He's the the number two, the sword guy with three swords. Like his fight is like really really good, and it's a really cool setup for what's supposed to happen. And like One Piece does a lot of like padding in that like they'll make you wait for stuff, and they don't seem to be doing that this time. Like within the first 2-3 episodes, they're already starting like a major fight.
There you go.
Like characters, because you know how anime is. Like all your favorite characters get separated, and they're doing all this different stuff. And then
Training.
by the time the arc ends, yeah, they have to like come back together, whatever. But like Luffy and Zoro meet up in like the first 2 episodes, and it's like, oh, let's start fighting, folks. And it's like that's what you want to see, right?
Gotcha.
So like I'm real hyped for it right now.
Okay.
But I'm only at the very beginning of that arc. I know it's like maybe 80 episodes in at this point. So
I'm mad that that arc is 80 episodes in.
right. I might be exaggerating a bit, but it's a lot.
That's like half of Black Clover.
It's a lot. I want to say like because I came into it at like episode 940 something, I think, or it's like either 940 or 960 something, and it just crossed like the 1,000
If
mark.
I'm
So it's
interested
probably
in this,
less than 80, but
where do
Uh-huh.
I need to start? Don't tell me episode 1.
you should probably start at
I
episode
hate
one.
I watched episode 1 this
You
time.
should probably start at episode 1. I don't know. I'm sure you can find guides online that say, hey, watch just these episodes and skip all this filler, because there is filler. Like there actually are a couple episodes of filler right after the Wano arc starts. So like I'm ignoring that when I'm thinking about it getting started. It's like 3 or 4 episodes right after the first 1 or 2.
Mhm.
But if you cut that out, you're right in the action, baby. So ignore all the filler. Just ignore the filler. Find a guide, ignore any filler, you'll be fine.
All right, we'll see.
Because it's not that much. Like there's filler here and there, but it just pads like the beginning of each arc. Like after arc finishes, you'll get like maybe a couple episodes of filler, and then it'll move on to the next one. It's not like Naruto where they did like a whole 100 episodes of just straight up filler that doesn't matter to the story.
Okay. All right, we'll see.
But outside of One Piece, I'm all caught up. No, I'm not all caught up because they just released a new episode of The Wheel of Time, that Amazon
Yeah.
finished
Oh, yeah.
series. It starts off a little slow. Like it looks like very basic and run of the mill at the start, but then once they start getting into like the intricacies of their particular world and like their backstories and like their factions and stuff, it gets a lot more interesting.
Okay.
Like the one power is like their kind of over encompassing power set, I guess, in that world, and like it's super interesting because it's something that's supposed to be woman controlled. Like only women are allowed to use this power.
Mhm.
And if a man has it, that's a bad sign because it drives them crazy.
Oh,
And like that means they're going to do really terrible things if a man gets
power in
is
general.
born with that power. Yeah, so like the women who control it, like they seek guys like this out, and they I can't remember the word they use, but they essentially like cut them off from it,
Okay.
and that essentially makes them it basically breaks them. It's like it's the humane thing to do because like they'll probably hurt people, but the side effect is like the guys will then essentially become a former shell of themselves, or like will commit suicide or something down the road. So it's like it's kind of a death sentence though they don't actually kill them.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of the dynamic that's at play when a bunch of kids get involved, because like it turns out that this group of kids one of them may be like the reincarnation of the person who created this problem in the first place.
Yeah.
Like who made it so that men would go crazy when they use the power. And so like if it turns out one of those kids are the person, then like they can like change the world or whatever. And like 3 of the 4 kids are dudes.
Oh, that's scary.
Right. So it's like it brings up all these like interesting issues and problems and whatnot. So like I am enjoying it. The special effects. Some people have been complaining about them. I think they're fine.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there's anything to really worry about there. And like the acting is okay. So like it's nothing like amazing. Like it hasn't blown my mind like Foundation has from Apple TV.
Yeah.
But
I've been told to
but
watch
I am liking it. Like I do want to see what's gonna happen next. I think there's like maybe 2-3 episodes left.
That's what's up.
Discordiana says I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming it goes a lot faster than the books. Well, I wouldn't know. I have not read the
The books
time
are
books.
long as heck. When I was in the Navy, all of the old head chiefs had been reading or have read Wheel of Time. Like it's almost like it's a cult classic to say the least. When it comes to
It's weird that it took so long for someone to try to adapt.
I think because the books are so dang long.
Well, same with Foundation actually.
I didn't know about that.
It's a Rachel. You're the one who mentioned that. Like you read like the Isaac Asimov books,
Yep.
right?
So yeah, I have not started on Foundation yet, but that's going to be like during my Christmas to New Year week time off. That's probably what I'm going to get into. Because
it's really good.
I like the Foundation books, and although admittedly my favorite Asimov stuff is still like the mystery novels he wrote before Foundation, so I'm on brand. What can I say? But yeah.
All right. And then aside from stuff I've been watching, playing, I just wrapped up. Well, I gotta actually do the editing and stuff, but I just wrapped up a review for a game called Prey for the Gods. This actually released in early access like 2 years ago or something like that. Like, so it's been out for a while, but in like a really rough shape for a while. Yeah. But it finally hit 1.0 recently, and it is essentially Shadow of the Colossus.
Interesting.
Like, if you like Shadow of the Colossus, this game really takes to heart what made that game good, and then they try to add a little on top of it. So like you get like your big boss battles, and it's mostly boss battles. But in those sections between, when you're traveling to each boss, they add in survival game elements. And I know what you're thinking. I hate survival game elements. But it actually works in this instance because like the premise is like the world is frozen over, and like the whole reason for hunting these bosses is because by killing them all, you fix whatever's going wrong with the world. And so on your trek to get to each boss, like you're fighting against cold, you're fighting against hunger. They're like animals and things that you have to hunt. You have to craft the tools you use. Like you have a grappling hook, which thank God you have a grappling hook, because like trekking through snow is very slow. But if you can, hit a mountainside with your grappling hook, boom, you're just up there and you're just jumping across the thing. But, like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, like your stuff all breaks. So you have to keep enough resources on you to like repair things or to make new versions of the things that you're using all the time if they break. And that really does add a lot to the getting there. So like you have like this big crazy adventure of where you had to scrape and scringe and fight off this random horde of like little skeletons that came after you just to get to the boss. And then when you get to the boss, you don't have to use any of that stuff. Like you don't need your sword. You do need your grappling hook for a lot of the boss encounters. But you don't need to like really fight them so much as you need to figure out how to like
defeat them.
Like Shadow of Colossus, climb up on them, get to like those special spots, and not stab them, but you ring like a bell that's on their body or whatever.
Interesting.
But it's really really fun. Like I really enjoyed my time with it. Like it's not super long. I want to say it was like maybe 10 hours or so. But if you're looking for like kind of a meaningful story like Shadow of Colossus, that is where they drop the ball. Like they show you a bunch of like cutscenes and like there are cool intros for each boss. Like the bosses look fantastic, but by the end of the game, it's like a lot of stuff starts happening and none of it makes any sense. Like they don't even try to like have the things they're showing you connect to anything. It's like, what the hell is this giant wolf doing here? There's a ghost child next to me. Like what? Like what's happening here? Like none of it makes any sense. But I did enjoy the experience, so I'll say that much.
That's what's up.
It's good.
And I think I played a little bit of Fortnite. I'll admit.
It's okay, man.
It was.
It's okay.
I bought the battle pass
you
for my
spent
son.
Money on it. Oh.
I bought it for my
that.
son because he was begging me for V-Bucks. I'm like, look, can't you like earn V-Bucks for free doing a thing, whatever? Like, I don't know how Fortnite works. He was saying, no, I need the battle pass thing. Well, he didn't say he needed the battle pass. He said he needed V-Bucks. It's because he wanted to buy skins. He was mad that he had like a default skin, and I guess other kids are running around with like the special skins. I was like, all right, fine.
Is this what kids are taunting each other over these days? I feel so old.
I guess.
That's the stuff.
Yes.
I'm actually happy to hear this. You know what I mean?
So I was going to get him just the basic battle pass. It was like, okay, so you have to earn the V-Bucks and whatever and the skins that you want, right? But then I saw how long it actually takes to get to like the Spider-Man skin. Like the Spider-Man skin is on like page 9, and like you have to be like level 50 or something wild like that to get to it. So I was like, all right, fine. Let me get him the premium battle pass, which gives you the first 25 levels free, and then he gets a bunch of skins and stuff unlocked at the start for him to like play with. But then if he really does want the Spider-Man skin, he has to like play and actually earn the V-Bucks and stuff. So he's actually been doing that and playing the game a bunch, trying to earn like more V-Bucks and stuff. But like he'll do the thing where he's earned a little bit of V-Bucks, he'll immediately go to the battle pass and start spending it all in there. So I told him, like, look, if you can get the V-Bucks thing up to 950, I think is the number, then I'll chip in the other half so that you can get another 25 levels on the next battle pass.
There you go.
So like if you can do that, then like I'll help you the rest of the way. So like that gave him motivation to actually save.
So what you're saying is Fortnite is a viable tool for teaching your children about frugality.
I think it's working. Like that, it seems to be working because he does have the drive to get me to help him on the next one. So like, because my son, it is so hard to get him to plan for the future. Like he does not care about like saving things for later or doing the tough stuff first so that he can get it out of the way, whatever. Like I really desperately want him to know what it's like to just plan, like have a plan. Don't just immediately react to things. And so this is like the first time he's actually starting to get it. And it's because he wants to play Fortnite. So, like he was complaining because he had to go do something.
Fortnite, bro. Come on.
Well, it was to help him out. You know what I'm saying?
Just play.
No, because he was doing this thing where he like, I think it's like a grindy arena where dudes are just shooting each other. Like, there's no building involved. It's just like a match. It's like open combat, whatever, like this weird arena where you infinitely respawn. You have access to all the weapons and you're just fighting to grind XP. And he was playing it, and then he had to like go, I can't remember, like go clean his room, use the bathroom, something like that. And he was like, oh no, but I got to finish this thing. I was like, just go. I'll fight for you while you're away, whatever. Yeah. So that he wasn't like just standing there getting shot.
Yeah.
And so I played for a little while, just shooting folks or whatever. I earned him some XP. It was like, you know what? I'm not gonna play. Like, look, I understand what the draw is for Fortnite, and it's the culture around it that I'm so fascinated by. I still don't necessarily like the gameplay. It's fine for him, like he gets it. It's childish enough that I think, like they added like mechanics like sliding and stuff in it. Like it looks pretty cool when you're running around. And my son is doing all the stuff. Like he's 8 years old, but he's like jumping over the things and sliding under things and trying to like shoot people and getting cover. I'm like, this is cool. I haven't seen him play a game like this well before. Yeah. Like he plays lots more platformers and stuff. To see him, really excelling in a third-person shooter is interesting. Also, he started picking up Overwatch as well. Like he's been playing that against bots and stuff.
Ooh,
and he gets kills and stuff.
Buddy. Hey, let him know if he needs help.
So yeah, so I thought that's pretty cool.
Contact Uncle Blue. You know what I mean? We'll go through AI.
Aunt Rachel's here too.
So that's
I'm a Genji main.
Girl, let's go.
Oh, I did not know that.
I did. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll let him know that you guys are
come through on Over Wednesdays.
Offering to train him.
Come through on Over Wednesdays.
But that's pretty much it for me. We can move on, I guess, into one of our proper topics, the Halo TV series.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, what's up?
It's been a long time since I've been on here, man. I had one more show I wanted to talk to you guys about.
Let's go. What is it?
Jupiter's Legacy. Now, the only reason why I came back up on my radar is because I watched Super Crooks, which was
I was gonna start that
freaking
soon.
Amazing on Netflix. Super Crooks, can't wait for the rest of it. They don't have to do a second season, but I love what they did. That made me say, oh my gosh, it's connected to Jupiter's Legacy. Let me check it out. Some people said it wasn't bad, but I did hear it got canceled. I watched it. I am upset that it got canceled because I feel like it was really, really good. I heard that they went super over budget, and I can see it. So I'm just really upset that happened, but I really wish there was more coming out from that Jupiter's Legacy world because that world building was great. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but definitely it's worth your time. It's worth your time.
So should I watch Jupiter's Legacy to watch Super Crooks?
You don't have to do that at all. I did Super Crooks first, and it made almost no impression on the series.
But they do take place in the same world. Like, are there like little nuggets of things like that you like?
3 or 4 scenes where you see the people from the show in there, but they're just kind of like flying by or something like that, or they're on the news or something like that. Yeah, but granted, their presence is still very large in the world. Their version of the Justice League is still very large there, but they call it the Union of Justice. But yeah, these are about the villains though. These are about repeat offenders, the mentality that goes into being a villain, and what the pride is in being a supervillain. And what it takes to try. It also shows how scary heroes are when they're against you. Son.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But that also begs the question, like, if the live action Jupiter's Legacy was canceled because it went over budget, but this Super Crooks show was able to get made and is maybe, a better sell to fans, maybe they could do the sequel to Jupiter's Legacy as an anime, right?
I would love that. I would love that. 100%. The action in Super Crooks is amazing, y'all. Like,
yeah, I saw the trailer for that. Like, it looks really good. Like, I definitely want to check it out.
I was screaming every episode. My wife did not like it. But yeah, right. I'm good.
All right, then. So we'll move on into the Halo TV series. Yeah. The lead producer on it, Kiki Wolfkill, has stated that it will have its own canon. They're referring to it as the Halo Silver timeline or something like that. And supposedly it's to make sure that whatever's happening in the show or whatever the show needs to do, it won't be affected by the game's story and vice versa. Like, they don't necessarily need to match up with each other to function. And I guess I'll start. I personally think that is a fantastic idea because I don't know if anyone else has finished the Halo Infinite campaign yet, but a lot of people have not been high on its story. I think it's fine. But honestly, like, the biggest problem with Halo game stories so far is that the story in these games, or the story for Halo rather, is actually really good. And like, it's so big, like it encompasses so much that the games can't really fit that into what it needs to do. Like, you have to play the game. You have to have your character, Master Chief in most instances, jump through a bunch of hoops and get a bunch of stuff done that is integral to the story. And like, when the story spans like pretty much the whole galaxy and like has all these other factions and histories and stuff, like, you can't really fit all that into a game in a meaningful way. So like, the game story suffers. And like, I feel like that's what happened in Halo 5 especially, and that's what happened now in Halo Infinite, which does a better job of trying to tie some stuff up, but still, like, you can tell there's a lot of stuff missing from this game. Like, on one hand, like, you maybe want to go out and read more about what's going on in the world, but a lot of people, namely me, probably won't do that. Like, I'll just continue to wonder, like, what else is out there. And then the core game is left with kind of a mediocre piece of the story. Whereas this TV show, hey, brand new start. You can retell all the old stuff and then like make it work for the medium that it's in, which is TV, where you can get real deep and granular with a bunch of different characters, not just Master Chief.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised they had to specify that Halo's show and Halo, but I get now in this day and age of like connectivity, everyone's gonna assume, but
exactly.
I am actually kind of enjoying this playing with the concepts that games put forth. I mean, when they put out the trailer for the new Resident Evil show that's coming out, and they're sort of with Lance Reddick as Albert Wesker.
Right.
And I remember seeing that and thinking, "Ooh, where are we going with this?" Because this is something that I was not anticipating, and I have never seen anything like this before, which means I can get excited about it too. Even though I feel like I know everything there is to know about the Resident Evil games at this point. And it's kind of the same with Halo, because the story is great and the world is amazing, but I'm kind of curious to see where we go from here with this new start.
You mentioned Lance Reddick, and just reminded me of this stupid video he did on
the Eric Andre show.
I wish I was LeVar Burton. I've been wanting to recreate that video. My media partner said it's a bad idea. So.
Oh, I'm sorry if you guys don't know what we're talking about. Please. I saw this like two mornings ago, and I had to send it to Blue and Jeff because I could not stop laughing.
I love Lance Reddick.
But like, watch it's Lance Reddick on the Eric Andre show. Look up the clip. Don't do it now. Don't do it now. Don't do it now. Do it later.
I'm making a note.
And see what the hell we're laughing about.
Making a note, but yeah.
And So kind of, and this does actually kind of tie in, right? So that video, Sigma,
Hmm.
I think I told you that I was thinking about redoing it, right, or replying.
Uh
I told my media cast, they said don't do it. But the whole thing is, I wanted to incorporate, oh my gosh, incorporate Destiny and John Wick, right? So I was gonna
Right.
wear a suit and then maybe like have a rocket launcher on my back. Like I wish I was Lance Reddick, you know. Anyway, the whole thing is I love him in almost everything I've seen him in. As much as I have abandoned Zavala in Destiny, I love his voice. um, he always plays such a pillar. Um, and on the opposite side, the comedy unpredictability of him is amazing because of that persona. So it's always great to
Right.
see him.
I didn't know you had it in him.
Exactly. And I've seen him do comedy stuff before, but that was what they call alternative comedy. Eric Andre show, y'all. Going back to Halo. Until Dawn. I loved that. I Forward Until Dawn, that's what it's called.
Yeah, Forward Until
Yeah.
Dawn. Yeah.
I really liked it. I did see that was like the first time in my youth that I saw potential for live action video game uh, media that could be entertaining. Before, there's the trope that the video game movies are always terrible, and it felt like that for a very long time. Um,
Hmm.
but this was one of the first ones that kind of switched my mind on it. I hope the Halo TV series um, obviously doesn't do the same thing, but the vibe is the same. Where yeah, we can do this. I think Arcane was a big wake up call for a lot of people. Seeing these video game adaptation to TV series that is good and has a compelling story. So
Yeah, you're right. I'm a little upset that Arcane is getting
yeah,
like
I
all of that
know.
because like
Well,
Castlevania came out first.
Yes,
Castlevania, yeah, exactly. And
understand.
well, the Halo TV series has been in development for a really long time. It's been stuck in
Yeah, it was
development
supposed to be a
hell.
movie at
Yeah,
some
it was
point.
Mhm.
stuck in. I remember. I think Spielberg actually announced it at an E3 like almost a decade ago. I
Holy
think it
crap!
was.
That just reminded me, like I've been watching the Xbox On documentary,
Hmm.
like just the story of like Xbox up from beginning to like now, and Halo is such a big part of
Hundred
that.
percent.
Like the like Halo is part of the reason like why people like were looking at video games as more than just like this kid thing, right? Because it was such a cultural phenomenon. It was the biggest thing in entertainment when Halo 2 released, and then it broke all those records when Halo 3
Hmm.
released. Like it created the midnight release thing. Like that was all Halo's doing,
Yeah.
right? So like the fact that it's taken this long for them to get like a big budget Halo thing made is odd, but like again, like the fact that they're like, look, we're not going to sully this project by trying to link it in with anything else. Like, we'll let it stand on its own. I think is a brilliant idea. Like, it's the smartest thing you could do for
Yeah.
it,
Well, I think
Um.
just sorry. Go ahead, Blue.
No, no, you're good. You're good.
I was just gonna say, like, it being a cultural phenomenon is not does not necessarily translate to, we're gonna make a movie, we're gonna respect the material or show, we're gonna respect the material and it's gonna be good. I
Mm-hmm.
think we needed to have like a period of like getting the inmates into the asylum, as it were. So of, having people who actually love and, respect Halo get or at the very least recognize how best to adapt it into another medium, get into the business and sort of bring this to light in a better way, because I do think that Blue's right, because video game movie was like synonymous with bad for a
Yep.
really long time, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
that that was one of the fears when they first announced that they were adapting Halo was, oh god, what are they going to make Master Chief in this version?
Hmm. Yeah.
So
And I'm glad you said in this version. I think the announcement that this is a totally separate story is important for people who are not familiar with the series. Just like you said, Sig, this is a big, big story that spans a lot of different stuff. I've been playing since the beginning, and I have not been paying super attention to the story. I have to admit that. However, still haven't played through the campaigns. I'm really kind of lost on. I'm lost on a lot of details. Naturally, you're not paying attention. You're gonna
Like
lose the details.
it's kind of their fault. Like if you've just been playing the games and you know the story from just playing the games, that's what gets you lost because they don't tell you a
You have to read
good
all
story.
the
Like they
lore,
confuse the
and
crap
then
out of you.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
like it's
it's
their
nice to
fault.
have a fresh start on something familiar. You know, that's kind of how I feel
Right.
about this, especially with the new drop of Halo Infinite. I think this is perfect timing, not just for gamers, but for viewers, people who just want to watch and kind of be a part of this resurgence of the Halo cultural phenomenon. Um, it's gonna be on Paramount Plus, though. Like,
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I don't want another
I
streaming
don't.
service, but like Paramount Plus has been kind of calling to
They,
me with some of the stuff that that they've been
I
announcing.
hate to
Like, I
admit
still
it.
really want to see that Rugrats remake, which is
Uh,
on there.
Okay, I'm just gonna
you got
like
that
real
one.
quick check my apps so that we can. Okay, so far we've got Netflix,
Yeah.
Hulu, Disney
Mhm.
Plus, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Peacock, HBO
Hmm.
Max, Paramount Plus. At what point are we just back to full on cable?
I think we've been there
Yeah,
already.
Well, see, this is the thing, right?
and that's
I
just
hear
the
what
stuff
you're
I have
saying.
on my apps.
I hear what you're saying, and I've heard that argument quite a bit. But cable never lets you just cancel any of those at pretty much at any time. Never.
Yeah, it is still kind of a la
It
carte in the sense
is.
that you
Yeah,
can, right? It's like a channel that you have on demand access to, and you can get rid of it if you're not actually watching
Yeah.
stuff on it.
Yeah. I'm still in the F cable party. You know what I mean?
oh yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I still have Sling TV, so it's like it's
Half
cable, but like not cable,
cable
right?
adjacent.
Because I can't give up Cartoon Network.
That's
I
fair.
feel that.
That's fair.
I feel that.
Like I need that channel.
Yeah. So overall, oh, the last thing I wanted to mention in regards to Halo, I loved the recent storytelling of Halo ODST as a more
Hmm.
grounded story in the Halo universe. I think that one stood out to me the most because I felt like, hey, you could be a regular human here too. Um, and still be effective in the galaxy. I hope that there's that kind of sentiment that's passed along in this series as well. Forward Unto Dawn really showed the difference between, specifically physically, the difference between humans and Spartans, and that was one of the coolest things to see because 9 out of 10 times when you're playing the game, 9 out of 10 times when you're playing the game, you're just seeing Master Chief, and he just looks like a regular guy. Yeah, you're walking around humans
Well,
every now and then, or like you don't have a scale to say like this is a massive person that's just doing all this crazy stuff. You know what I mean?
that I think the Infinite campaign actually does a good job of
Okay.
that for
Okay.
once, because like the time you spend with the pilot who finds Master Chief in the beginning,
Yeah.
like he's literally like standing like at his like chest, like yelling at him, like Chief, we gotta get out of here.
I
I'm
love that
glad
he
you said for
sassed.
once. Though.
I love that he sasses Master Chief too. I feel like that's
Uh,
something not a lot of people do. Not enough people do.
Yeah, he's very annoyed with the
Yeah.
ignorance is
Chief.
bliss, right?
By the way, during one of the teaser trailers for the show, it wasn't the one that they showed at the Game Awards, but it one that they
Mhm.
showed earlier. They actually like show the back of Master Chief's neck when he's putting the helmet on, and I was like, I feel very weird about this. I feel like I
Kind of like
just
the
got.
Mandalorian.
Well, no, I was thinking about. I think I said on Twitter something like, I feel like a Victorian gentleman who just got a glimpse of an ankle. I'm like,
Yes,
oh, my word,
that's how
fan
I felt
myself.
season. You just ready, right?
All right, well, do you guys think, because this is something that we've had a taste of
Yeah.
because of the Mandalorian, a main character who is almost exclusively faceless? Do you think we'll be seeing some Master Chief face in this TV show?
At one
Mm,
point, yeah.
it's possible, yeah. Although I really think that it's at this point, no one really cares what Master Chief looks like. It's not, I
Mhm.
don't think it's. I think at
I
this point,
disagree.
fans are not. Well, I don't know if fans are going to have a huge reaction of betrayal when
Mm.
if he were to take off the mask. I think fans would be like, "Huh, look at that," as opposed to, "No, why have you done this? Why have you committed this grievous act of treason?" Something like that. I think they would have a few years ago, but now I think they're more like, eh.
Mhm.
But I think it would be. I hope they don't shoot that. I hope they don't shoot that shot too early if that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I think timing is going to be very important. I think that
Mhm.
it's going to happen. One, I think that lots of people are going to be upset too, no matter what is under that helmet, regardless of black, white, yellow, blue, brown.
I want to say the books have stated that he's white because he's like super pale
But
or
this is a whole
something.
nother thing that they could do anything with, right?
I mean, you're right.
So
Yeah, it's
that's
just
why
Yeah,
new
they're
timeline.
just going to
So,
put it on the
but I mean,
showrunners.
the actor they cast, like we do know who that is, and
Pablo Schreiber.
it's
Yeah.
Mm,
right.
okay. Um, People who don't know, like me until just 2 seconds ago, are either gonna be really mad,
Well, that's
or
why
they're
they're
gonna
going
be
to
really
show
happy.
his face. I mean, he could just be the
Right,
body,
yeah.
and they could have someone completely different. They could have Lance Reddick as the face,
Okay, so
and
that's what Pedro
Have Michael
Pascal.
Coulter as the
I'm glad you
face.
said that because that's what Pedro Pascal was worried about in The Mandalorian. He's like, they can replace me with anybody at any time. I need my face out there so they know it's me.
mm,
That was one of his biggest complaints of Mandalorian season one, and I can see um the I don't remember who you guys said it was, but Master Chief having the same thing. Like, whoever's playing Master Chief, if y'all don't show my face, you can replace me. I could be anybody. I could just be a CGI person, and you just see him hitting my voice. Um, I think for job security
Well,
for
yeah.
these guys,
Did they say anything about the voice? Like, is Steve Downes still gonna do Master Chief's voice in the show?
I actually do not know that.
so that might be even less of this actor on the screen. Um, so yeah, I do think when you have a masked protagonist, and one that's supposed to stay masked for the majority of the time, you're gonna, especially in the live action, you're gonna run into some identity issues, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Identity
true. Like,
hurdles, I should say.
yeah, it's why.
As far as I
Oh, I
know,
also should have mentioned I saw Spider-Man this yesterday as
Yeah.
well. But like, it's something that they do in those movies. Like, these are heroes who are masked, who wear masks all the time. But for most of the movie, they're in their hero costume with no mask on, and it's because they want those actors' faces out there, right?
Yeah.
So like, it's something that they're really gonna have to fight against if they do want Master Chief
I think
to be like a prominent part of this show. But honestly, I think they might do what Forward Unto Dawn did, where there are a lot of other characters that they focus on, and Master Chief is kind of like this rarity that pops up every now and then. And so like maybe they'll get away with it because of that.
Depends on the focus of the show, right?
Yeah. I mean, they only have Pablo Schreiber listed as Master Chief. They don't, I mean, and they could very easily, because they have Jen Taylor as Cortana for the show, so
Mhm.
they could very easily bring in somebody else to do the voice. But I think the fact that they're having him do the voice as well, do the whole Master Chief, that makes me think they're going to show his face at some point. So that when he
Maybe.
takes the helmet
Yeah.
off, you hear the same voice as you do when the helmet is on.
That man is ripped. Jesus, have mercy.
Pablo, yeah.
Oh my god.
That's a big,
He's got
that's
like
a big boy
12
right there.
abs.
He's 6'5". That's why they cast him.
He's about 7'13". Jesus.
Yeah, he's an actual
Spartan,
Spartan.
yes.
He's quite a tall gentleman.
Oh,
Yes.
he was the leprechaun off of American Gods.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Lucky
That I-
Charms.
Wait, the leprechaun
I-
was huge in American
No,
Gods?
he was a big dude. He was definitely a
Okay.
big dude.
I
Yeah.
have not seen American Gods in quite some time, so I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. All right.
Look at him
Cool.
making it big.
Okay. Something.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. I just realized
Okay,
the irony.
yeah,
of this
anything else to
statement saying the leprechaun was a big dude.
Right, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like
no.
they made the leprechaun like a huge dude. That's funny.
That was like one of the first things they said. They're like, "Aren't you supposed to be short?" He's like, "That's just a stereotype." Yeah.
That's really funny. All right, anything else to add on the Halo stuff before we move on?
I'm good.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
Got it.
All right.
I know we're running hot today.
We're running out of time, but how much do you guys want to talk about NFT? Because we can't just skip to our Game of the Year stuff.
I mean, I could say one thing about NFTs.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I work for GamesBeat, so we do a lot of stuff on NFTs. So I feel like I just want to like put in a little bit of a word here. So it's just, I feel so bad for GSC Game World, because I think what happened was they got, I mean, because I know that some of the people who are involved have invested in blockchain and cryptocurrency. So that's why they're really excited about NFTs. They got really excited and they forgot to take the temperature of the community. And I will say, I think being first AAA game to have NFTs as they claim, that's not a spot you want to be in. Because I mean, if you want to, I think NFTs, when they get, when they are become more of a ubiquity in the world of games, it's going to happen in things like mobile games, that sort of thing. It's not going to be in like the AAA Call of Duty space necessarily.
Not first, at
Yeah, like it doesn't really fit.
Yeah.
Right? Like if
It's like,
it's so hard to really explain to people. Like one of my best friends, who also goes by Blue, not this one, but Blue Magic.
Oh yeah, I know that. He's a good guy.
Yeah,
Other
yeah.
Blue.
He just had a whole conversation with us about how NFTs are the future. It's going to populate the metaverse, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, how much do you actually know about NFTs? Because it sounds like you're drinking the Kool-Aid and that you haven't actually done any research. My man spent $50 on an NFT from Crypto.com. It's a picture of like a mole man who has three axes, like Zoro from One Piece. Like he's holding two like this and one in his mouth, and it's like, so what are you gonna do with this now? Like, cause the plan is to pawn that stuff off to another person
Yeah.
who wants it for more money than you paid. But like this thing is tied to nothing. So how would you sell that?
Yeah, it's just well, the whole thing with Stalker was that they're like, well, this selling NFTs in the game, which is basically what they were selling was the privilege of putting yourself in the game. Like that was what you
Mm-hmm.
earned for your NFT. Like that was sort of like the immutable form of art that you got for purchasing, for giving your money to GSC Game World. And they were like, well, this doesn't affect the game, the gameplay at all. Everyone will still be able to play the game, and we're just giving these prices because we want extra funding and all that. And the community is just like, well, aren't we giving you enough money, with our pre-orders and our support?
Yeah.
And instead you're basically just
Microtransactions.
selling this weird this weird extra thing, to like these really rich people who are probably not even going to play the game. So
Yeah,
that's my I mean that's my read on it, is that there are going to be a lot of people who there are a lot of people who are in NFTs. They're not the people who are going to be playing Stalker 2. Like
Yeah.
that's a very
it's true.
specific community, and I'm
It's true.
part of it. So because I love Stalker. It's a great series, and I just don't think Stalker, the crowd who are going to buy NFTs, I don't think there's a lot of overlap in that Venn diagram. And I think that's the problem, is they sort of like I think they got really excited about like having this new source of income and NFTs and being the wave of the future. They announced it, and the community is like, "What the hell? We don't want that." And they're like, "But oh, pickles." That was the vibe I got from the whole situation. They're like, "Damn, we really thought you'd go for it." But
That should have been the opening line in their apology letter. Oh, pickles. We're sorry.
that's what I
We're sorry.
that's
We messed
hey,
up.
that it's just that pickles is a word that you say when you want to have a couple of hard consonants, but for some reason swear words don't really cut it. You're like, "Well, pickles." So, not that I have a problem with
Okay.
swearing, it's just that in that case I feel like it sounds better when you say it like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll cut the NFT talk short there and move into our favorite games of 2021. Um, it's been a long year. I feel like not like a lot of like maybe the exciting big stuff has been pushed out of this year entirely, like thanks to delays and whatnot. Everything's like in Q1 2022 now. But I think there's been some hits here and there. And you guys have anything that you want to bring up that you have just been gushing about since you played it this year?
Mm,
Okay, so I got a couple
I
that
mean,
I
I can go
pulled
first
up.
if you need like a second. No, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna go real quick. It's gonna be kind of like rapid fire, right? Not all of these. I'm just gonna go with it. Marvel Avengers. I don't think it was the best game of this year, but I had a lot of fun playing it. I really loved the story. I loved the action. And when it did work, because I kind of came into the game late, I had a great time, especially with my friends. Um, it was a nice contrast to the MCU. Um, on oh yeah, Humankind. We talked about it very briefly on one of your podcasts.
Wait, the monkey game?
No, 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 no. This is a different one. This is kind of like Civilization. I talked about where you make
Okay.
custom cultures. So yeah, I really liked Humankind. I think it was a very nice, fresh taste take on the turn-based world take over the world strategy games. Um, Evil Genius 2 World Domination. I recently started playing that. It's on Game Pass. Um, it's a
Mhm.
lot of fun. It's a very micromanaging like game, but I got mad Venture Brother vibes from it, just from the style, the music, and the things that you can do, and that made me really appreciate. A lot of people like villains and anti-heroes because it's just a side that we don't explore as often. I think Evil Genius 2 does that perfectly. Um, Outriders. That game, I know, I
aw,
know, I know. Your eyes are just like, what the hell? Outriders. I had
Like
fun when
really?
it worked. I had fun when it worked. The
that's fair.
movement is so great. The fast pace. It was like a fast pace shooter slash whatever else you made it. With your skills, and that was the cool thing about Outriders. I think it definitely deserves mention because as much as it flopped, I think it had a strong stand for a reason. And last but definitely not least, oh no, sorry, not last but least. This is the second to last. Mario Golf Super Rush. had a great time with it. Yeah,
Really?
I wanted to play it more with some folks, but golf takes a while, and sometimes people don't have the time. But I had a lot of fun. It definitely threw me back into that nostalgia. The nostalgic sitting on the couch, just got Mario Golf. Let's throw down. Um, Last but not least, this is the last but not least, actual good game, from top to bottom, Hades. I did not think I was gonna like a rogue like Hades.
Did that come out this
No,
year
it
though?
came
When I
out last year.
Oh shoot, you know what? I was looking at
So
the
did Marvel's
wrong list
Avengers.
here. Really? Okay, my bad, y'all.
It's okay.
I'm just
I
looking
mean,
at
if you
It's
played them
cool.
this
It's
year and
cool.
you
It's
loved them,
fine.
yeah, the
then
recent
I don't think it
releases
matters. But
on because Hades
it,
wasn't on the
it was
PlayStation,
released.
Xbox, or
Yeah,
the PS4, Xbox One until this year.
yeah,
So that's
that's
when I
fair.
had the first opportunity. I think Marvel is similar. No, it's not. I was just wrong on Marvel. Okay, so Hades, yeah, that's where I'm at with that. It was just available to me, and I started playing it this year. Loved it. I was The story was great. It made me care about all of these mythological gods, as well as um, some that weren't Greek, which was really cool to see included in the story. So yeah, that's kind of my list. There's lots of other games that I played that didn't come out recently. I'll just say. um,
Which ones did you mean that weren't Greek?
oh, they talked about Raw. Um,
Oh,
uh,
no, I know what you mean. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but it was really cool to see those gods included.
hmm
In this. So yeah, that was fun. I think that's
I
about it.
I
Go ahead.
really want to see Zagreus's brother and sisters appear in the next game.
100%. I love Zagreus. Honestly,
I
I don't
want to
know if I
see
can
Big
forgive.
Brother Zagreus. I need to see
Yeah,
Big Brother. That okay?
yeah.
Sorry,
Let's
that's
see
just
that. No,
my
no, no,
my
no.
feeling about Hades right now.
I 100% understand because as much of it's as much as it's a roguelike that you keep doing over and over, it never felt like the story stopped moving.
hmm
And that I cared about every time I did it, because every time I died and came back, they cared too. You know, it wasn't just like, oh, you're here again, bye. It was just like, oh, things are changing, people are moving, the world is moving with you. It didn't feel
hmm
as linear or cyclical as it is. You know,
Yeah,
yeah,
I appreciated that. Yeah,
hundred
I think
percent.
I've mentioned it before, but my best friend streams Hades, and she is so much better at the game than I will ever be. So I experience. So she's gotten way further than I ever will in the game. So I'm experiencing a lot of like the serious end game stuff through vicariously through
Girl,
her.
yes.
So yeah, it's just and I'm continuously amazed that there's so much more to discover about this game.
Once the
And
credits rolled, I was like, okay, it's gonna be boring now. No, the story just didn't stop.
hmm
Huh.
yeah, and I'm yeah.
Yeah, I've dabbled in Hades a little bit, but I've not done a completion
hmm
yet. I haven't had the time to like really spend with it, but I do like it. I do want to go back to it.
hmm
So you guys are amping me up.
There you go. Yeah, and I gotta say, like, I love the art of Hades as well. It's like to me, it's a perfect marriage of. I mean, we're not. This is supposed to be about games of 2021, and we're yeah, like
I
we're
know.
on
I'm
this game.
sorry.
It's okay, but I'm just gonna say, like, this to me, it's a perfect fusion of like modern sensibilities and like sort of the ancient depictions of these characters as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
I'm hugely on the side of Hades. So, yeah, if I honestly, I think I've enjoyed Hades almost more than I have a lot of the games that came out this year. So I'm fine with complimenting Hades a lot.
Thank you.
It's fine. It's fine.
Can I say,
Mhm.
every character in its own way is very sexy.
Understandable. Yes.
Thank you. All right. All right. I'm done now. I'm dropping the mic on
Okay.
that.
All right. I can go next if you don't mind,
Sure, go
Rachel.
ahead.
I played a lot of stuff mostly for review. Like that's like usually those are the games that I complete and stuff that I get paid to play. But there are only a few have really been like stuck in my brain for like an extended period of time. And the first game that comes to mind is Genesis Noir.
hmm
Mm,
Like this is also on Game
yeah.
Pass. It's a short kind of story driven thing, but its concept is so like mind
It's
bendy.
trippy.
Like you basically play as as characters who are representative of like spatial concepts, like time, like space, like the sun or whatnot, right? And your story is it's a noir story where you're an investigator trying to figure out who shot another character, but your investigation is essentially telling the story of how the universe was created.
Yeah.
And like it does so with like crazy interactive visuals and like amazing jazz music and like the ending of that game, because there were sections of that game that frustrated the crap out of me. I'm pretty sure there was a puzzle midway through that was straight up broken. I had to reset it multiple times. I was sitting there for like an hour struggling with this puzzle, only to find out that it was broken. Like I emailed the devs and everything, and they were like, "Oh, we don't know what's going on." Resetting it, all of a sudden the thing that I was doing worked. So the thing was just broken for like an hour. Despite that, it still ended on such a high for me that like I really really suggest people play this game. Like
I started it with the wife.
I don't really want to spoil it, and honestly, if I tried to, it wouldn't make any sense anyway. You just have to experience it.
Yeah, it's so trippy that you can't even describe the angles that they're gonna put you through for these puzzles. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, yeah, I definitely started that myself. It's just like you said, the music, the atmosphere, the spatial manipulation that they give you, and the things that you have to go through to solve these puzzles is just so cool. And the metaphor is dope too. Yeah, I feel that, bro.
Yes, I really did enjoy that, and I wrote an article based on it. That's on the Escapist somewhere. I forget what the title of it is, but it's something along the lines of Genesis Noir, or how video games are the cure for the human condition, something like that. Look it up. Other than that, I played the Rift Breaker earlier this year.
Yeah.
That's also on Game Pass.
I played the beta on
It's
that.
a base building game as well as a top-down shooter. It's mad fun. Like, it's just fun. I'm not a big fan of like tower defense or base building or whatever, but like the mechanics work so well and the combat is so cool, and like the way it introduces you to all of the different ways you can build up your base and like take care of it and whatnot is really fun. It all works together in really cool ways that it never felt like a burden to have to like jump between all these things and, you know, manage your base and manage your weaponry and upgrade yourself. Like, and they do a really good job of just keeping you invested in getting to the next technology beat so you can make your way to like the end of the game. So like all the way through, it's just really fun, really engaging. I would sit there for hours just playing and playing and playing, not realizing how much I was playing because like everything flows so well together. So like it was a really great experience. Like I'm mad I don't have more time to keep playing it. But the Rift Breaker, if you've not heard much about it, like definitely check that game out. It is really good.
We talked about that game at the Indie Awards. I think it was last year. And I got into the
right.
Remember
Yeah,
I was telling you
because
about
that was showcased at the
Indie
Escapist Indie
yeah.
thing.
I got into the Discord and I got to play their alpha. I think it was. But anyway, one of the things I loved about that game is how satisfying building is. Like things just drop one after the other. It's almost like, not ASMR, but those satisfying videos that you see where things kind of collide together, or like it's like a domino effect or something like that.
Right, where like they'll put like a lamp in like a hole in a table and it like fits perfectly.
Exactly.
Right.
That kind
I know
of
exactly
deal
what
when
you're talking
building
about.
in Rift Breaker. If once you get the hang of it, things just fall together. And yeah, the flow of the game is really what sells it, because we've had base building games before, but none this smooth. None this smooth.
I'm
God bless
sorry.
Ooh, bless you.
you. Good.
It's all right.
It's the allergies are really bad today. I apologize.
Oh.
No, yeah, like the weather's like shifting all over,
Yeah.
so my fiance was getting affected too. But I want to say maybe 3 more games that I want to get through. Chorus is one of my most recent reviews. It's that space fighting game.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, apparently they used my Escapist quote in their like accolades reel during the Game Awards, so that was fun.
Okay.
But like honestly, I'm not bringing it up because they liked my take on it. I just really like that game. Like the story is dumb. like the character is like super over dramatic. She's like talking to herself the whole time in like a whispery voice. She's basically that character from Apex Legends who has like another version of herself talking to her.
Oh yeah, Wraith.
Like
Wraith?
that's what she sounds like.
Yeah.
Wraith, yes. That's essentially what the main character is. But it's a beautiful world. It does have interesting like factions in it. Has an interesting power scheme because Nara is the main character. She's like a telepath or something. She has a connection to whatever this otherworldly creature is, and so she can do things like teleport. She can like see the past. She can levitate things with her mind, and all of those powers work with her spaceship, who by the way is a living weapon. Like it's a sentient thing. Yes, right. So her ship, which can fly unlike any other ship, like it can drift in space and whatnot.
That's
so
crazy.
Yeah.
It's really fun because like you're trying to chase down a thing and like it does like a quick turn. You basically do a space drift to stay online with it, or like you fly past like a capital ship to keep your guns trained on its guns to like knock all that stuff out while just skirting through space. Like it's really stupid fun. But then Nara will allow you to teleport from where you are to behind a ship. So rather than have to do that dogfighting thing where you're constantly turning left or turning right or trying to do loop-de-loops or whatever, you just teleport straight behind that ship and like you're back in the action. Like it's really fun.
I'd be livid.
There's also she has like a battering ram power too, where she just flies straight through shit.
Oh my god!
Like it's like they give you all the kind of powers that make flying a lot easier than it is in other combat games, and like they make it work with the story, and it's just mad fun. Like they give you like a good amount of challenge too to like use all that mobility and stuff against, and like it gets really tough in the end, but it's always fun. So like I highly recommend that game if you can get your hands on it. They spell their chorus with a V, like the band Churches. So, it's one way to get that to stick in your head.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. That teleport back behind somebody is nasty. I'd hate if somebody did that to me. I'd be livid.
Like that's a game that just looks really fun just by watching video of it. Like it's even more fun when you're actually controlling that thing.
Ooh.
But speaking of like speed and stuff, Hot Wheels Unleashed.
I remember you mentioning that.
That game is mad fun. Like I don't care about Hot Wheels. Like I wasn't big on them as a kid, and like I definitely don't like care about collecting them as an adult or whatnot. But like you feel the love for like the Hot Wheels brand and those toys in that game. Like it made me want to learn more about those vehicles, like what went behind creating them, like what was the inspiration, blah blah blah. That stuff's not in the game, which is disappointing. But the way they recreate those car models are fantastic. Like it's honestly one of the best looking games I've played this year, and it's a licensed Hot Wheels game. Like that's insane to me. Like the way those cars look, the way the tracks look, and all of that is done on top of like just straight up perfect arcade racing gameplay. Like when those cars drift, like they move the way you think they should, and like the different kinds of cars have different handling. So like your low to the ground joints will have like maybe a lot more angle when they drift versus like big trucks and whatnot. But it all feels right. Like it's super fast. Like you can boost. Different cars have different ways of boosting and gaining boost. Like some have like little nodes that have to be filled up, and you can use them in like over time. Like you can use one, then use another one later. Whereas other cars will have like just a full bar that burns immediately when you hit the button. So it's like you can have preferences with the different kinds of cars or whatever, and you're playing the game more and more to unlock more cars. Like you're chasing more cars because like they all play differently, look differently, and like have like these different little mechanics and whatnot. So like it's very addicting, very fun. It's a little bare bones, but it does have multiplayer options. It has track editor options. It has a full suite of customization options. So like any of these Hot Wheels cars, you can put your own like colors and graphics and liveries and stuff on them. And like people have made like really cool stuff that you can download as well.
Now you talking.
So it is an exceptional game. I cannot stress enough. That game is near perfect in terms of being an arcade racer. Wow. Like I absolutely loved Hot Wheels Unleashed. Like I haven't bought it yet, but it's a game I'm probably gonna get for my kid for Christmas. He didn't even ask for it. I just know he likes Hot Wheels.
So you're getting it for you.
I just know he likes Hot. I'm getting it for both of us.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And my final game of the year is Death's Door.
Oh yeah.
Like it's from Acid Nerve. It's basically like a fusion of like the top-down Zelda games and the Dark Souls games in a way, but it builds a very unique identity of its own. Like it doesn't feel like those games. It just has like some of the best parts of them in its DNA. But like its world is super interesting. Like you play a crow who's a Grim Reaper, but you're like just one of many who works for like this bureaucratic organization. So like it's your job, and it's like kind of a ho hum kind of job, even though it's supernatural.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of other characters who are really funny and interesting because like they all work in this world with you, and then you get into some trouble, where you have to like go find a bunch of other like souls to go reap that are like a big problem for everybody else. So like the world is full of mystery, it's full of stuff to explore and find, and like the way like Dark Souls, like the maps loop back around to each other so that you have like kind of save points,
yeah.
and that you end up back where you started. It like the word that keeps coming to mind when I talk about Death's Door is how it feels so cohesive. Like everything you do in that world feels connected to everything else, everything down to the music, which is phenomenal. Like the Death's Door soundtrack is probably one of the best soundtracks in a game
Really?
I've heard, period. Like it's amazing, that music. And they tie the music into the game so well that there's a particular level, for example, where you're hearing the music as you're going through the level. You get to a point where you have to activate a bunch of pistons that work throughout the level. When those pistons come on, they are the bass beat of the music that you were hearing.
Nice. I love that. So they did a Yoshi
So, like-
on the Super Mario.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like, but the thing, like these pistons throughout the level are also part of the platforming challenges. So like to know when the pistons are going to be up or down or whatever, you have to be in tune with the music because that's part of the beat. So like the gameplay is in tune with the music, and they do that also with boss battles. I saw later on, one of the devs tweeted about how like they made it so that a certain section of the music would only trigger after the boss did a certain action. So like the boss would like be a certain amount of health. They'd go under like water or something, and then the boss would not come out until the song reached a certain point, so that when he shot out and landed, it was on beat with the next part of the music.
That's pretty cool.
And like that kind of attention to detail, like it's not something like you notice right away, but you like
You
feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you
Subconsciously.
feel that the whole way through.
Yeah, I got you.
And like it, like that game is not new, it's not revolutionary in terms of like what it's doing, but it does everything so perfectly. It's like it takes all of those elements to like the absolute best you can have them at. And so like it's Death's Door is a fantastic game. It did not get nearly enough credit during the Game Awards. Like I think it was nominated for like maybe one category and didn't even win that one category.
Yikes.
Yeah.
This year. But like it's a phenomenal game. If you've not played it, definitely play Death's Door. Also, buy the soundtrack. I listen to it when I write almost all the time.
Nice.
Like that and Outer Wilds is like on my writing playlist like all the time. Like so those are my picks for game of the year. Games of the year.
All right.
Go right ahead, Rachel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, full disclosure, I've just had like a really rough year all around. I mean, everyone has, I'm sure, but I've
Aw.
just, so I mean, classifying things into two categories. I mean, first of all, we've had a lot of remakes and re-released games and this year, and so I sort of put those into a different category as the new games, and it's so because I want to give credit separately, even though I know like this doesn't
Yeah.
technically count. Like my favorite game experiences so far this year were Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, for obvious reasons, you know me, and also Mass Effect: The Legendary Edition, which I
Nice.
mean,
Oh.
I am completely aware Mass Effect has so many. It's not this is not a modern game by any stretch, but playing it is still just like, I feel so comfy and cozy.
Nice.
But it's like coming home when I play a Mass
Yeah.
Effect game. So it's like that was, and also when it comes to new games, I feel that even though I recognize there are games that are better made, it feels this year like I got to give credit to the games that I actually cared enough about and which invested me enough that I actually finished them. And so to that end, it's like even though I understand that that these games have flaws, it's like if you caught my attention on this a year when it was really hard to capture my attention and give me a reason to get up and keep playing the game, then I got to give you credit. And in this case, I got to give it to Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Okay.
Which
Oh, okay.
that game should have won Best Kids Game, because I'm sorry, It Takes Two is not a kids game. I'm sorry, it isn't.
I can kind of get behind you on that.
I feel like
yeah.
Joseph Fares was up there, sort of going tee-hee behind his hands when that game won best family game. It's like, this is not a family game. What are you? Did we play the same game? That game made me. I mean, credit to It Takes Two. It's a good game. But I mean, but as far as a game that is actually kid friendly, enjoyable, it's got its flaws, but I really just enjoyed playing it and experiencing these colorful, bright worlds. Like I just needed a little color in my life. Conversely, another game that I actually finished, Resident Evil Village. So again,
No color.
not a perfect game, not a perfect game at all, but everything about it just seems so campy and enjoyable. It's like, hey, we've got vampires and we've got werewolves and we've got Frankenstein's monster and we've got, or at least that's what I assumed they were going for with that factory level. But it's so campy and silly, and I loved it so much. And there were a bunch of games like that this year that were just that. Even though I don't like put them forward as like the best examples of gameplay this year, I cared enough about them to
Mhm.
finish them. And to me that meant the world this year. It's like Life is Strange True Colors.
Mm.
Let me see.
Yeah.
That also an excellent game. And by the way, Erica Chen, best protagonist of a Life is Strange game. I'm sorry, but Alex is just the best. 'Cause I did not like Life is Strange, the original. So True
Really?
Colors had a lot of work to do to win me over, and it
Nice.
succeeded. So I got to give credit where that is due. And there was one other one I wanted to mention. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, that was just the crux of it this year. It sounds sad when I put it like that, but I promise I don't mean for it to be sad. But
No, yeah, it is, I didn't get sad at all. Like the stuff that makes you excited, the stuff that sticks in your head after you've played it this year, like for sure that is what we're looking for in a game of the year,
Yeah.
yeah.
right? Like the if it just draws out the passion for
Mhm.
you, then boom, that's it.
And I remember now. If I, my putting forth as what I think is like the best indie game that I've played this year, and which I think was cruelly shafted at the Game Awards. It didn't get nominated for anything, which was Unpacking. Like that game should have won
Oh,
for best
I
audio
played that
design.
Ah,
game. It's so zen. I love it.
I mean, that
And you
should have
get
won
to
best audio design,
yeah.
hands down,
Yeah. No,
all
I'll give
day.
you that. I'll give you that 100%. I played that in the middle of the night when I was just like, let me just space out a little bit and just kind
Mhm,
of recollect my thoughts. I was doing some writing and I saw it on Game Pass, popped it on. I was like, I needed this so much. It's like
mhm.
a warm cup of tea.
It's just when you get right down to it, it's like it does something that a lot of games can't manage, which is that it takes like very, very minimal elements and tells you a complete story. Like I think the
Yeah.
moment I knew this was a game that I adored and would tell everyone about is when you have this level where the main character moves into her boyfriend's apartment,
Mm.
and you have to find a way to fit her stuff into his space, which is
Yeah.
very subtly hostile to her stuff because her stuff is very colorful. She has a lot of books. She has too many books, if you're asking, if you know, which makes the game more difficult. But she has a bunch of like little animal statues and stuffed animals, and his stuff is very clean. It's very minimalist. It's very precise, and you basically have to like shove his stuff aside just to make
And
room for
make
her stuff.
room.
And yeah, it was just it was a
wow.
little bit of gameplay. There was no dialogue, no text whatsoever, and
Nope.
yet you knew exactly what was going on, and you had a feel for what was going on, and it made you feel something. And the fact that it managed that was incredible to me. I mean, this is like what 12 minutes was trying to do and completely failed
Oh
to
my
do.
god.
It's like
Oh
right.
my
It's like
god.
here,
12
let's
minutes.
give you a very limited environment and very minimal storytelling and see if we can make you feel something. Unpacking did it, 12 minutes didn't. I mean, we're not going to go into like games we
Oh no, 12 minutes made you feel something. I don't know if it's what they were going for.
we're not going to get into games we hated this year, but by the
Right.
way, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you know what mine was. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, so
Mm,
All right.
that's my indie game to gush about this year.
that's what's up. I like that.
Nice. So that's gonna do it for all of us. Thank you guys so much for joining me for the last show this year. Um, Blue,
Yeah.
why don't you let these folks know what it is you'll be up to up until the
Oh my
holidays?
gosh. I think I might just be spending time with my family. Um, to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to do any more streams for the end of the year. But if you want to find out, you can always follow my Twitch. Search BLUB0NES. You follow my Twitch, follow my Instagram, follow my Twitter. You'll see any of those announcements popping up. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm doing anything else. I think we're gonna kind of bunker down and make sure all these gifts get out on time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and but yeah, definitely you guys, join up on the Discord. You'll still see us in there, popping in, playing little things here and there, and just making things happen. Yeah. That's where you can find me.
Alrighty. How about you, Rachel? What do you have coming up that you want folks to check out?
Well, it's the holidays, so I mean, you can follow my
Mhm.
Twitter, which is at Rachel Kaiser. You can see above my head, and all of my stuff goes through there. So if I do anything, if I surprise anybody with anything, it'll be through there. I'm like Blue. I'm probably not going to be putting myself out there that much for the holidays. I am going to be doing Stay Golden Sundays throughout the holidays. So because Golden Girls is fit for all occasions.
Oh,
So
yeah.
but yeah, so yeah, I guess you guys weren't. I didn't make it clear. Stay Golden Sunday is my weekly column that I do where I recap an episode of The Golden Girls on my Tumblr. So it's
That's great.
very, very much a Tumblr sort of thing. But yeah, I might do a couple of streams. But if I do, it'll all go through my Twitter. And by the way, if you've been seeing my name in chat, Grace of Athena, that's my Twitch name. That's my Twitch channel name.
Yeah.
So if you want to come and follow me just to see if I manage to get up enough energy to do a stream, I will be doing it through there.
All right, thank you for that. You guys can find me as usual at Sigma Gears 9. I see you guys asking. Yes, we will be doing a Super Smash Sunday today. It will be the last one of the year as well. So 2:30 p.m. on the Open Party channel.
Yeah.
You can join us for that. In terms of other streams, yeah, probably I'll finish out this week with the Escapist for the stuff I have to do. Like, I'm pretty sure we'll still do an Editor's Hour. We'll probably do one more Hidden Gems on Tuesday. And then we're doing a big breakout episode with Nick Marty and the composer for Halo Infinite.
Ooh.
Nice.
Gary Coker? Gareth Coker? I'm
I know
sorry.
you're gonna get it right.
I think it's Gareth
G.
Coker.
Coker.
G. Coker. But yeah, so he'll be on with us to talk a little bit about Halo music and stuff, and then just random whatever, because he's just going to be a part of the podcast. It won't be like a conventional interview, so that should be fun.
Yeah.
And that'll be it for us until next year. So I hope you guys enjoy your holidays. I know that Nick and Marty are going to be doing the Persona all night or Persona all day stream today. So we'll still be doing Smash Sundays. If anyone's with us there, we'll hand you over to them when we're done. Right? So join us for that later today. We will see you guys next year.
Bye.
Later.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Bye.